Hello everybody, and now as I go for a little bit of a walk in the rain, I thought I'd get back to the last of my videos talking about Brexit and the Irish perspective on Brexit. So in my series on this, I talked about how Ireland was connected to the European Union, our relationship with the EU, how the relationship between ourselves and the United Kingdom centres mostly on Northern Ireland, how Northern Ireland itself came about, and what our opinions were with the Brexit negotiations, both the actual referendum itself and what our opinions with the negotiations until the Windsor Framework set up the land, the sea and air border between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. So, what's the situation today? Well, at the moment, there's a lot of debate going on in the UK with regards to Brexit. Again, the United Kingdom, under the current Keir Starmer government, seems to be toying with the fact that, yes, in the current world, Brexit doesn't seem to have been such a great idea, and that going for a pure and complete break with the EU was or would be very, very bad for the British, more so than for anybody else. This has led the Keir Starmer to push for closer union to the EU, and the whole situation with the Ukrainian war, which has meant that Britain and other European states have had to step up to the fore because the United States has basically backed out of that war. They have to step up to the fore to support Ukraine in its war to protect itself from Russia. This has led to the fact that further and deeper connections between the UK and the EU might actually be beneficial to both constituencies. For the Irish, we have largely gotten to the stage now at this point where we don't really care one way or the other whether the UK remains outside or inside the EU. Our economic situation is no longer as heavily tied to the UK as it used to be, and we have become much more intertwined with the EU and with international markets, more so than with the United Kingdom. The biggest issue, though, remains Northern Ireland. Like, what the UK wants to do is really up to themselves, but as long as it doesn't cause any more friction in Northern Ireland, we are reasonably okay with it one way or the other. Most Irish people would like to see the UK back as part of the EU once again. We believe that it was a stronger union with the British as part of it. But if they decide not to do it, or decide to postpone it for several more generations, or several more years into the next generation, that's really their prerogative. A lot of Irish people look at what happened with the UK and the economic damage that leaving the EU has caused to it, and have basically decided that A, this isn't for us, and B, the sooner the better for them economically to come back in. So, to make a long story short, most people here welcome the idea of the UK remaining or coming back into the EU. But at the end of the day, we don't really have too much of an issue with them staying out as long as it doesn't affect Northern Ireland. What will happen once the situation in Northern Ireland gets to the stage of unification is anyone's guess, and is a topic for another day. But right now, presently, that's where we stand. We, on a side note though, the whole argument that this is the will of the people and that the vote was already made and we should not have another referendum because it was very divisive and it split families, etc., etc. While we can understand the concept, most Irish people wouldn't share that opinion that referendums are rehashing old ideas and having votes again on things that have changed would necessarily be a bad thing. We have done this a few times before in our history, but I think that might be another topic that we can go into at some stage in the future. Right, so have a very nice day and wish you all the best.